You won't believe what happened in the heart of Eastleigh on March the 3rd, 2026. A seven-story building, packed with hundreds of men, women, and children, suddenly erupted into a wall of flames, and no one saw it coming. People were trapped. Smoke was choking every stairwell, and on the upper floors, families began to scream. What you're about to hear is the full, untold story of Yare Plaza Inferno, the desperate escapes, the shocking cost that nobody expected, and a detail so disturbing that it changes everything you think you know about this fire. Stay with me because what happened on the rooftop is going to haunt you. Before we get into the chaos, you need to understand something about this building and why this disaster hit so many people so hard. Yare Plaza sits on Yusuf Haji Avenue, right in the beating heart of Eastleigh, Nairobi. Now, if you have never been to Eastleigh, let me paint the picture for you. This is one of the busiest commercial districts in all of East Africa. Some people call it Little Mogadishu. Others call it the engine room of Nairobi's informal economy. Thousands of traders, shop owners, wholesalers, and entrepreneurs operate here, day in, day out. The streets are packed, the buildings are packed, and every single floor of every single plaza is filled with merchandise, families, and livelihoods stacked from floor to ceiling. Yare Plaza was no exception. The roughly seven-story commercial building housed dozens upon dozens of shops, clothing retailers, electronic vendors, wholesale fabric dealers, small offices, and on the upper floors, a mosque where worshippers gathered daily for prayers. On any given afternoon, hundreds of people would be inside the building at any one time: traders, customers, delivery workers, children accompanying their parents. It was alive with activity, noise, and commerce. So, when fire broke out on the afternoon of March the 3rd, it did not strike an empty shell. It struck a living, breathing community, and what followed was pure pandemonium. It started sometime in the early afternoon. The exact minute is still disputed, but witnesses agree on one thing: it was fast. The first sign of trouble came from the middle floors of the building. Somewhere around the third or fourth story, smoke began to pour out of the windows. At first, some people on the ground thought it might be a small kitchen fire, maybe a gas cylinder mishap. That kind of thing is not unusual in buildings like Yare Plaza. But within minutes, the smoke turned thick, black, aggressive. It rolled out of the building in massive, suffocating clouds that could be seen from blocks away, and then came the flames. Orange tanks of fire began leaking out of broken windows. The heat shattered glass. Debris started falling to the street below, and inside the building, panic exploded. People on the lower floors rushed for the exits. Staircases became jammed with bodies pushing, shoving, and screaming. Some traders tried to grab whatever stock they could carry. Others abandoned everything and ran for their lives. The smoke made it nearly impossible to see and nearly impossible to breathe. But here is where this story takes its most terrifying turn. While the lower floors were being evacuated, the people above the fire were cut off. The flames and smoke had blocked the main stairwells, and dozens of people, possibly more, found themselves trapped on the 5th, 6th, and 7th floors of a burning building with no clear way down. Now, pause for a moment and imagine that you are on the 6th floor. Below you, fire is eating through the building. Your stairwell is filled with smoke, so thick that you cannot see your own hand. The heat is rising. You can hear people screaming below you and above you, and you have no idea if anyone is coming to help. That was the reality of dozens of people inside Yare Plaza, and what they did next is nothing short of extraordinary. But before I tell you about the escapes, there is something else you need to hear first. When the first emergency calls went out, Nairobi City County fighters were dispatched immediately. Police units followed. Ambulances were called in. Within minutes, the area around Yusuf Haji Avenue became a scene of organized chaos. Now, here is the problem. Eastleigh streets are notoriously narrow and congested. On a normal day, traffic barely moves. On this day, with panicked crowds fleeing the fire, with bystanders rushing towards the scene, and with emergency vehicles trying to push through, the gridlock was catastrophic. Fire trucks struggled to get close to the building. Precious minutes were lost navigating through jammed roads and double-packed vehicles. When they finally arrived and began deploying hoses, the fire had already spread across multiple floors. Firefighters attacked the blaze from the ground level, sending powerful jets of water into the building. But a fire in a multi-story structure packed with textiles, plastics, electronics, and other highly flammable merchandise does not go down easily. The materials inside acted as accelerants. Every shop was essentially a fuel depot. Rolls of fabric, stacks of clothing, cardboard packaging, plastic containers, all of it burnt hot, fast and relentlessly. The firefighters fought floor by floor, but even as they pushed the fire back on the level, it will flare up on another. This is the part of the story that will stay with you. On the upper floors of Yare Plaza, people who were trapped began to improvise. With the staircases impassable and the fire climbing towards them, they looked for another way out. Some found ropes, others found electric cables, and in scenes that were captured on mobile phones by horrified onlookers below, men and women began to lower themselves down the outside of the building. One man, and the video of this spread across social media within the hour, climbed out of a window on one of the upper floors, grabbed hold of a cable, and began sliding down the side of a burning structure, hand over hand, floor by floor, while flames licked the walls around him and smoke billowed past his body. The crowd gathered below watched in stunned silence at first, and then erupted into cheers as he reached safety. Others made the crossing to neighboring buildings. They climbed across ledges, jumped narrow gaps between rooftops, and pulled each other to safety in an act of raw and scripted heroism that no training could have prepared them for. On the rooftop, another drama was unfolding. A group of people, including worshippers who had been inside the mosque on one of the upper floors, gathered on the roofs as smoke poured out from below. They waved their arms, they called for help, and eventually rescue teams reached them and brought them down. Now, let me be clear about something. These were not trained professionals. These were ordinary people, shopkeepers, traders, customers who had walked in that morning expecting a normal day, and in the span of minutes, they were forced to make life or death decisions with nothing but their bare hands and their will to survive. Every single one of these escapes could have ended in tragedy. A slip of the hand, a cable that snapped, a ledge that crumbled. The margin between survival and catastrophe was paper thin. But somehow, against all the odds, the evacuation succeeded. Tens of people made it out. Some sustained minor injuries during their escape. Cuts, bruises, smoke inhalation, but in the initial reports that followed, no widespread fatalities were confirmed, no critical injuries were reported, and that is as close to a miracle as you will find in a story like this. But that is not all. Wait until you hear what people are saying about how this fire actually started. Now, this is where the story gets deeply unsettling, and I need to be very careful here because official investigations are still underway and nothing has been confirmed by authorities. But here is what has been circulating. In the hours and days after the fire, eyewitnesses' accounts began to surface on social media, in community conversations, through local reporters, on the ground in Eastleigh, and the story that emerged is far darker than a simple electrical fault or a gas leak. Multiple unverified claims suggest that the fire may not have been an accident at all. According to those accounts, the blaze might have originated from a domestic dispute, a family conflict, Specifically, reports describe a situation involving a disagreement over a shop tenancy inside the building, entangled with the personal issues, including demands related to a divorce. Now, I want to stress on this clearly. This has not been verified by any official body. Nairobi authorities have not confirmed arson or any specific cause. The investigation is ongoing, but the fact that these claims are circulating so widely and with such specific detail has added a deeply troubling layer to this disaster. Because if, and I say if, this fire was deliberately set as an act of personal vengeance or emotional rage, then the hundreds of traders who lost everything, the families who were trapped, the people who risked their lives sliding down cables from burning floors, were all victims of something far worse than an accident. They were collateral damage in someone else's private woe. That possibility has shaken the Eastleigh community to its core, and it has sparked a much larger conversation about safety, accountability, and justice that is far from over. When the last flames were finally extinguished and the smoke began to clear, what remained of Yare Plaza told the real story. Floor after floor of charred wreckage, shops that had been stacked with goods worth millions of shillings, reduced to ash and twisted metal. Display cases melted, inventory destroyed, years of saving and hard work gone in a single afternoon. For the hundreds of traders who operated inside Yare Plaza, this fire did not just destroy a building, it destroyed their livelihoods, their futures, their ability to feed their families. You have to understand the economics of Eastleigh to grasp the full weight of these. Many of these traders are small business owners, some are refugees and immigrants who built their businesses from nothing over years and even decades. They do not have insurance, they do not have backup warehouses. Their entire net worth was sitting on those shelves and in those storerooms, and now it is all gone. The building's owner, reported as Mzee Haji Ahmed Abdullahi, has received public sympathy and condolences from across the community. The loss to him personally is immense, but the collective loss to the hundreds of tenants who depended on Yare Plaza for the daily income is almost impossible to calculate. Some traders have spoken to journalists with tears in their eyes, describing how they invested everything they had in their shops, how they had restocked, how they had no way to recover. This is the real horror of the Yare Plaza fire. Not the flames themselves, but the economic devastation they left behind in a community that was already working on thin margins. This disaster has pushed hundreds of families to the brink, and for many of them, the road back will be long, painful, and uncertain. So where does this leave us? There are hard questions that must be answered, and of course, questions about what actually caused this fire. If the investigation reveals that this was indeed arson, there must be accountability, not just for the act itself, but for every single life that was endangered, every business that was destroyed, and every family that now faces financial ruin. The Eastleigh community is resilient. Anyone who has spent time there knows that. These are people who have rebuilt before, who have survived worse, and who will, with time, find a way forward. But resilience should never be used as an excuse to ignore systemic failures that put people at risk. The Yare Plaza fire is a wake-up call for Nairobi, for Kenya, and for every growing city where commercial buildings are packed beyond capacity. If you are just hearing about this for the first time, now you know, and now you cannot look away. For the latest updates, follow local sources like thestarkenya.com, Capital FM, Eastleigh Voice, Celebrity Drama Files. They were on the ground and they are reporting in real time, and they need your attention now more than ever. Thank you for watching this video. If this story moved you, hit that subscribe button, leave a comment below telling me what you think caused this fire, and share this video with someone who needs to see it, because some stories are too important to stay silent. Stay safe, and let us catch up on the next Celebrity Drama Files.